Uh, I think Chris has also just logged in. Would you like to say hello and introduce yourself?
Uh, can you hear me?
Yes, we
Hello?
can.
Yes.
Oh, good. Yes, I have. Unfortunately, I'm just on my way home from work at the moment, so I'll probably turn my mic off and camera off and for another 15, 20 minutes.
Okay,
But thank you very much for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
great. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you too.
Okay. And Mohan, would you like to say hello? Um, maybe PK Bhupinder, would you like to say hello?
Yeah, hello.
All right. So anyone who would like to say, give a quick introduction before we go ahead with the session. We still have a few more minutes. We'd love to hear from you. Where are you from? And what made you inspired to do the VBA, VAFT course? We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, sister, I would like to add for some points. Actually, see, I don't know much about living values, education, and other things. Actually, it was my heart as I'm doing some educational institution. I'm thinking to impart this living values in our children. So I was going through some net, and somehow I got some link of your web, and then I started communication to you people. So day before yesterday, I received a mail regarding some course regarding. So first of all, my intention is I'm a chairman of an education institute where 1,000 students are there. So first, I want to learn something what required to my children. Down the line, now every institution is looking after education means academics, 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 whatever curriculum and other things only. Basically, they required some values actually. They should be very happy to their heart actually. Now the present education is not giving that to the children. Even the parents also, they don't bother about the other things actually. They are also having rat race, rat race, rat race. They want to make their children as an engineers and doctor, but they're becoming engineers and doctors and they're becoming money making machines only. They're not happy to their hearts actually. Something is missing actually. During these 5, 6 years, I've been researching myself. What can I do to my children? That inspired me to be associated with you, and I want guidance from you people. I want this Arivata is belong to the society where we're producing a holistic citizens. I want to produce from them my institute. That's all.
Okay. All right. So, as Mr. Reddy mentioned that he's from an educational institute and he has a lot of responsibility of a lot of children under him, and he wants to impart, he believes there is much beyond academics that he can impart to those children there. And we are totally with you on this, sir, because I think that the only lack in our education system today is values.
Yes,
And
sister.
everything else is fine. We can all have it all. We can have the sports and academics, but if it's values based, I
Yeah.
think the atmosphere will be just a different place to be in. So
Yes.
kudos to you to take this wonderful step forward, and we hope to guide you in the best possible way.
Thank you. So nice of you. Thank you very much.
Right.
And I think you're at the right place because as you stated, you're going to be directed exactly the same way as to how you can bring about values in children. That's what me and Toral specialize in, as
Okay.
to how you can bring those values and activities, everything, build a value-based environment in your school.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So nice of you.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyone else would like to share before we go ahead with the session? I see Sanyukta has logged in, Bhargavi has logged in. Would you like to say hello? GE. Yeah.
Moyhoon and Anne.
And
You're
yeah.
welcome to unmute and just introduce yourself and where you're joining in from before we start.
Hello, everyone. My
Hello,
name is
Bhargavi.
Bhargavi. I'm joining from Sri Lanka Living Values Education team. Very happy to see all of you here.
Michaela,
Hello. Hey.
good to see you. Long
Yeah,
time.
long time. Lovely to be here.
You're one of the best facilitators I've ever met.
Sweet. Oh, this is
Yes,
lovely.
Would you like to introduce yourself, ma'am?
Les personnes qui vont,
Ouais.
mais tu vois, peu importe les personnes, comment ça va peut-être même être, et ça va évoluer.
Hi, Prashila. She's from Mauritius.
Yes, hello. Yeah, hello. I'm Prishela from Mauritius, and I'm an art educator.
Huh?
Thank you very much for coaching me, guiding me in the path of my career as a teacher. Thank you.
Aussi, mais c'est en anglais, je sais même pas si je peux pouvoir parler même.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Anne, I believe you've raised your hand. Would you like to share?
Yes. Hello, everybody. Hello, teacher and friends. My full name is Ân Thúy Nga. I'm from Vietnam, and I worked in early childhood education here. So I sincerely wish to introduce the Living Value program to preschool age, and in the way it's appropriate with Vietnam culture. And I have read the Living Value materials and enjoyed the course and found them to be a treasure, like it's at a treasure trove. I actually look forward to learning from sharing with all of you. My English maybe it's not good, but I still want to say I hope you can understand what I say. Thank you.
You're very clear, don't worry. Warm welcome. Anybody else?
Yes, I'll introduce myself. I'm Michaela and I'm in Brisbane, Australia. And I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, good morning. I'm Bhupinder from Canada. I'm very happy to be here.
Great. A warm welcome. A warm welcome to all of you. And if we have your permission, we can dive into the session. You all are welcome to chat at any time in between. If we are, maybe not clear or, about anything, please do leave a message. Anyone else who would like to say hello? I would really appreciate if our videos are on. I know a few of you are on the roads, and but
It's Sanyukta from Mauritius.
yes.
Nice to see all of you. Toral, I know I met you in South Africa,
Yes.
and we have Sister Bhargavi, and also Priscilla, of course, from Mauritius, and Roger Mills, Brother Roger Mills, whom we know. So nice being with the Value family, and it's a wonderful journey, a journey full of blissful journey together. Thank you very much for inviting me today.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's your valuable time, and we really appreciate you joining us this afternoon, morning, day, whatever it is in your countries.
It's
right?
afternoon here.
Afternoon, okay.
Yeah.
We're all, you know what the beautiful part is? We're all in different time zones, but we made this time so importantly together today. And that's the beauty of having online meets and to see people from all over how much we, value having values in our lives. So thank you once again. Namrata, I see you've raised your hand.
Good morning. This is Namrata from New Jersey, USA. And I have heard about Living Value programs, and we used to do sometime before here too. So I just want to reconnect and re-energized myself with again. So I'm here today. Thank you.
Beautiful. Welcome, Namrata. Okay.
I think we can start.
Yeah, we can start. We can go into the session. I'm going to share a PowerPoint, which you all should be able to see in the next 1 minute. Yeah. So what we always ask our participants to ask themselves, how are you feeling just now? How are you feeling today? How are you feeling since the time you've woken up? Would you like to leave a message on the chat? It would be so nice. And if you all are carrying maybe a pen and a paper, you want to scratch it on, write it down, it will be great. How are you feeling right now?
Bhargavi says loved.
Loved, okay.
Enthusiastic. Excited. Quiet.
Shweta, can you just be a little bit louder? I can not hear you very clearly.
Sure. Can you
There
hear me
we go.
now?
There we go. Much better.
Great. G says loved. Moon says happy. Mr. Bhupinder says excited. Great. That's wonderful. That's really nice that all the feelings are positive. That's great.
It's raining here, cats and dogs since morning, so I'm actually feeling a little bit lazy, but I'm excited. I just had my cup of coffee, so enjoying this, looking forward to this meeting that's going to bring all the good vibes in. Yeah, right. So, like most of us, feeling happy. Okay, so let us just look into this aspect of who is this me that we are going to talk about today. By the way, we're going to talk about peace a few minutes later into the session, and how has this value, worked for you while you were on your course. We'd love to hear your sharings. And while we are here, just looking into this aspect of the whole me, that is the most important part of us. And, if someone asks you what exactly who you are, or, what do, you generally describe the role that you're playing and the profession that you have been into. So, for example, I'm a mother at the same time. I'm also a wife at the same time. I'm a sister to someone, a daughter to someone at the same time. So, what your role is professionally, you could be a designer, a teacher, a doctor, a lawyer, whatever business you're doing, a homemaker, right? So, reflect back on what you are on the outer label for the people of the world. And then after that, we have a subtle internal layer, which is our creative skills and qualifications. Whether we use them or not, we do have it inside of us, right? If you all go back and see what skills have you all procured since you've been growing, what are the things you like to do that really awakens that inner child in you? For me, it's painting. It's going on long drives with loud music. I'd love that. What else is it for you? Can you all share a little bit on the chat? It'll be really nice to hear. What is your hobby? What are your passions? What is it that you would like to nurture in yourself and, see growth in? Or maybe you have it, but you haven't been using it. We'd love to hear from you. Mosaics. Okay, that's beautiful, hey? And that's very time consuming. So you need that meticulous, um, you need the time, you need to be meticulous about it. Yeah, long drive is one of the hobbies. Yes, I know, I understand this completely. It's just so re-energizing sometimes, right? Yeah. What else? What else do our participants like to do for themselves? Daughter, granddaughter, teacher, Charmaine, you are playing the role of three at the same time. I just recently discovered I love Thai history. Wow. That's amazing. All right. That's lovely. And to dive into something that, you don't know what you're going to get at the end of that. It's also very exciting. Yeah. Lovely. Anyone else? Yeah. Explore more vegan food recipes. Honey from Hong Kong writes. That's something that would you please share it with me once you've tried and tested a few? It'll be so good too. Yeah. I'm also trying to go vegan as much as possible where I can. Yeah. It's lovely.
Happy to do that. I'm also experimenting.
Lovely. That's nice. And writes, I'm a mom and a teacher and a writer. You see, now that is something, a combination that you as a person are full of. And hopefully you are writing lovely things that you can share with us sometime. Yeah. Right. And then, yes, thank you so much. So then we have this inner part that we call the me, which is full of our core, which is full of these 12 values we believe: peace, respect, love, responsibility, happiness, cooperation, honesty, humility, tolerance, simplicity, freedom, unity. So the 12 values that we're going to explore each month, 12 months of this year, starting with peace today. And that is what we are made up of. Our core are these values and many more. But, at the very core of us, we believe that the first three core values are most important. So if we have a balance of peace, respect, and love, we believe we can easily get the other values into our lives, into our living. Yeah. So, Mohan writes, I am a teacher and I want to be the best version of myself to help the world. That's so beautiful. That's really beautiful, because when we change, the world changes. So you also believe in that. And that's the way to go. That's the right attitude while doing these courses at Living Values, right? So, and then we see, as you see, we've highlighted in bold and black, ego, anger, sorrow, depression, jealousy, stress, and conflict. That just comes by, right? Because we are into this whole situation and life that we are taking part in. But then how do we maintain that inner core? How do we live our values even though we have situations around us, even though we have disturbances, even though we have difficulties? How do we maintain? We're going to explore. Yes, Namrata, it's going to be recorded. Yeah. Yeah. So we are just going to see how we are going to work inside out and not let the outside situations have a control over us or have power over us. So that is what all of these values we're going to explore one by one. Today's value is peace, and we'd love to hear from you. What do you think about peace? Shweta, would you like to take it forward from here?
Sure, Toral. Thank you so much for the wonderful "Who am I?" I'm sure you all enjoyed as much as I did. So now I would request all of you to write in the chat, what does peace mean to you? Does that mean when your children are off to school and that quiet house, or, a silent walk over the beach, or just sitting with a cup of tea, spending those 5 minutes with yourself. Namrata says, just by myself, no fighting and quarreling. Shaman, great. Anybody else? For me, it's my gym time. That's my time where there is no interference and it's just I, me, and myself. Understanding myself. That's wonderful. And how do you do that, sir? Do you follow any practice? Do you journal? Do you write? Do you meditate?
Yeah, like hopefully you're able to hear me. Yeah, like I like to understand myself. If something is bothering me first, so I try to understand what is it that's bothering me, and then try to analyze my feelings first. And yeah, and I do like to meditate too.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And I think that makes all the difference. The moment you work on yourself, everything around you settles because it's our own internal battles and emotions which then have a ripple effect and affects the environment around. Michaela says playing music that has beautiful message of love and gratitude. That's brilliant. That's wonderful. Shaman says meditate. Wonderful. I think we can move on to the next one, Toral. Okay. Now think about a time in your life when you experienced deep peace. How did it feel? What was that experience? And how did you take it? Whether it was a holiday with your family, which was really loving, you created a lot of good times, happy memories, or was it just a holiday you took by yourself, or a spa which you enjoyed, something which really gave you peace?
I'd just like to add two comments that we just received with our previous question, and says peace is a feeling of calmness in the soul. It means treating others and the environment with kindness and respect. Peace is the emotional and spiritual balance within me. That's very, very beautiful. And I think it's the reality of life, right? If we live in this way, I think no matter the situation, we always find ourselves back to our core, and we can easily win any situation. Thank you for sharing that. Sister Sanyukta shares peace is my original nature. I feel comfortable with peaceful people and also a peaceful environment. And she values silence. So that's beautiful. Sudhakar Reddy writes, when I meditate, I find peace. Beautiful. Charmaine, spending time with loved ones.
I think
Right?
they are now answering this one,
Right.
Toral.
Okay.
About a
Yes.
time.
Yes.
Even spending time with the loved ones. When I sit in nature and meditate, it's deep peace. Absolutely. You're connecting to the nature, you're connecting to your inner self. When I'm gathering with the loved ones, sharing a meal and talking about things that matter. Wow, that's wonderful. Building memories. Spending time in nature. That's amazing. That's great. It completely refreshes and rejuvenates you to take on the day. Great. Meditation and being at seaside from Priscilla. Great. Amazing. Anybody else? Being in the garden. Yes. I think that's the most refreshing hobby or activity. Even I enjoy watering my plants. I even talk to my flowers as they bloom. And I think it really refreshes you and takes away all your stress for the day. I felt peace when I was able to let go of the breakup with my boyfriend, my parents' divorce, and accepted my reality. That's very nice. It's important to live in the moment and let go of whatever has happened. And, because you might be affected, but you're hurting your own self, which can, which leads to a lot of health issues and things. So the quicker you realize and take charge of your life, the better it is, which is brilliant. Daily in meditation, and when I pay full attention to myself and my feelings and emotions. That's very nice. That's wonderful. And now this is after you experience that peace. How did you feel? How do you feel? Like you feel rejuvenated, you feel excited, you feel happy, peaceful, calm. Shamin says serene. Yella says connected. Wow. Calm, calm. Yeah, I think it just makes you feel very grounded, right? And take charge of your emotions. Happy, yes. I felt relieved. It's blessed that I can sleep peacefully. Yes. No stress, no tension. Sleep is amazing, isn't it? You're relaxed. Calm, happy, and full of zeal and enthusiasm. Amazing. I felt the impact of peace in my life and those around me. That's great. That's wonderful. Toral, the next one, please. And now we come to the question of how did your children respond to your peace?
Or family or other relationships, immediate relationships.
Easy to talk with? Yes. When you're happy, you're safe. Anybody would be happy to come and speak. But when you're in an angry mode, your emotions are all over the place, people are scared. I'm assuming it could be children, spouse, partner, anybody. They feel connected, yeah. Children are really happy when they observe and feel the peace during our interactions, and they tend to really do it. Exactly. Parents are children's first teachers. And when you are calm, it becomes, it naturally comes to them of being calm. But when you are angry, you are, upset, you are screaming, for them it becomes a natural emotion that it's okay to be angry, it's okay to scream, it's okay to shout. So it's very important as to how you display your emotions because it has a ripple effect. If mama is screaming, it's okay for the child to think, oh, mama screams all the time. It's accepted. I can scream too, right? And you can't check them there because before we point others, three fingers are pointing back. So we have to be really aware of that.
I'd like
Children
to
are
I would like to add here, Shweta, even in a school environment, when the teacher is happy, is balanced, is at peace with her or his own self, we have seen that the children in their class grasp much faster, they are much more happier, they're able to connect with the teacher very easily. And that also applies for parents at home or your workplace, between your colleagues. It could be an adult to adult interaction. But I think this just is, applicable to your immediate surroundings. Thank you, Shweta.
That's great. That's absolutely very true. My students give full over and cooperation. Exactly. It's the vibrations you spread around, right? A happy colleague receives the same smiles he enters the office with. A happy mom receives the same hugs and kisses she spreads as she enters. A happy spouse or a partner or, a teacher involved, gets equally warm response as he or she displays amongst the children. That's very true. So peace breeds 100% peace breeds peace. You give what you get.
Yeah.
My students give full love and cooperation. Indeed. Okay, now this is a situation when you felt challenged in your peace. Toral, can we move? During war, yes. How did this directly impact your surroundings? During war, what was the direct impact within yourself first, then your family, then maybe your surroundings? You,
I think,
Kavi says it's
am I
during war.
audible?
Yes. Go ahead,
I
Bhargavi.
think the network is not good here, but let me try to move to a different space and answer. Yeah.
Sure, not a
So,
problem.
yeah, because I think back in the time when there was Cold War, a civil war in Sri Lanka, there was a bit of an uncertainty in everyone's life. Though we were consciously practicing peace, that moment of uncertainty kind of made us think about the future more and safety. I think it's more of safe. Trying to figure out how to come out of that chaotic situation.
Right, right. I understand these are things which are outside your control, right? But here if I would say something like you had a bad day and you screamed at your children, or you had a spat with your boss at work, or maybe you banged your car somewhere and now you all angry, stressed, worked up. How did you manage a situation like something like that, where, what was your reaction? Did you come out and take your stress and anger on, maybe screamed at a colleague, a junior colleague, or, let your tension or stress out on your children? How did it affect? Anybody to answer on this?
I think I can
If I
face a work
really...
situation.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so there, coming to think about the work that I was doing, I think the nature of the work itself, coming from a talent background, we were so trained to intrinsically believe that no resource is a bad resource, and it is where we place them and how we sustain them is how, we never was able to feel so strongly about somebody's disrespectful behavior. So it's all about our attitude towards the other person. And even when there is a performance review, it's more of checking my feeling after that review. Do I still feel the same peace and harmony between both of us? So I think many a times it's a development of that attitude that helps us, that no resource is a bad resource.
Right. That's very wonderful. And I think it's a constant reminder to yourself. It's a practice that when you keep telling yourself that I'm peaceful and these situations are not going to affect, it does take a bit of time, but I think eventually it becomes a part of it, where these things don't really affect you. Are you with me on this?
Yeah, and in addition to that, I think companies also should instill these values very strongly and impart among the employees and again. So in
100%.
conversation, it will reflect like respect,
Yes, yes. In fact, most of the companies also do these value trainings for themselves and for the employers, because it's again a relationship here, right? The employer and employee, and both of them come together with their own set of stress, tension, and baggages, which leads to clashes. But if we get all of them at the same place, at least to some level of being peaceful, it works well for them, for both of them. It's a win-win for both in both the situations, right? I think I missed a few. If I'm really angry, I will release at a place that no one is there. Don't want to spread. 100%. A lot of people, you can go out for walk, you can even journal it. Shamin, if you journal all your anger and just write whatever you want to, it really makes you feel light. It is scientifically proven that when you journal and you see it and you just burn the whole thing, it just makes your heart very light. If something's bothering you, which is going on, irritating and making you angry, just do this and it really works. And yes, that's really great of you to not show your anger in front of children, because children only become timid and scared, and they get into a shell when you show this kind of a behavior in front of them. I can shut others out and be cold when the peace is challenged. Okay. We would, by this, I mean, do you go quiet or do you shut others up?
Yeah, I go quiet. I withdraw and
Right.
go quiet, and yeah, then I need a bit of space before I can come back to the piece. Like I need to kind of reflect a little on how I reacted if my piece is challenged.
Right. I think that's a great way where you just sit and reflect on what just happened and just, take charge and maybe work on the emotions or the trigger points which led to that situation.
Yeah.
And, just work from there. That's a great way of just, staying calm and not immediately reacting.
Yeah, it's like taking a pausing and slowing things down.
Right. That's what they
Helps.
say, pause for peace. Whenever your peace is getting disrupted, you just take a break and just move out of the situation and just deep breathe or gather yourself before you come back. That's great. It's wonderful. Okay, I gather the courage to tell myself that I'm peaceful soul and no situation or person is going to disturb my peace of mind. Frankly speaking, courage is crucial to preserve. That's very brave. Often we forget in such situations that I am a peaceful soul. We all just stand there with our daggers ready to attack. But if you keep telling yourself, that's wonderful. That's being really aware of the situation. Kudos to you. I prefer mind myself with the God. That's a great way of staying. To be honest, not really a writing person. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Everybody has their ways. You can probably walk, go for a run, do deep breathing, and, just step out for 2 minutes and do deep breathing. So, whatever works well to take charge of those triggers, I think it can do wonders. Like a tortoise, I pause and I go within my inner cave of silence. Yes, Sanyukta, that's also amazing, where you just again reflect and see what happened and why did it happen. And quite often, if we are not at fault, you don't have to even give it too much of thought, because it's not your problem then, right? It was a situation where probably others' peace was disrupted and they just came and let it out on you. So you're not to blame. So you don't have to really go on pondering over it. That's a very good way of, just reflecting in silence. Reflection is a great tool, and also making collaborative rules with kids as well helped us to realize our reactions and make it right the next time. We've practically done over an year and really worked. Yes, that's very good. That's actually a great way of even making children realize where they're going wrong. Because in this situation, there's no stress or tension. You're just asking a child to sit and reflect and figure out why is he angry or why is he behaving the way he is behaving. You're just giving the control to him to figure out and realize. Quite often when we react in a opposite way, situation just gets out of control. But when we let the child take charge of his actions, reactions, emotions, take his time, ask him to probably go if he just needs space, give him space, let them think for themselves, and then when you're in a happy mood, just discuss it. That's a great way of reflection. Self-reflection really helps. That's great. Absolutely. I think sometimes it's important to use the power to let go. 100%. I think most of us need to develop that power to let go because, lot ego comes in, anger comes in. So if we start practicing the power of whatever has happened, this chapter is closed. We will not bring it back. It really helps. Any further?
Hi, may I share? Because there's something wrong with my keyboard. It's coming up in Chinese language, so I can't type.
By all means, honey, go ahead.
Yeah. No, for me, it's like when understanding also that life means ups and downs, right? It's normal. Everyone faces their challenges, but when something challenging happens, it's like, okay, reflect, take one step back and say, there's a reason why this is happening, and what can I be grateful for about the situation? So for me, gratitude really helps, because when switching from that, oh my God, why has this happened and this and that, it immediately, if you step back and you say, hey, wait a minute, there must be something good in this. Let's reflect on this. And that changes my kind of perspective on things and say, okay, it calms me down and say, okay, now I can look at the solution. There must be something good in this, and let's look at what are my options. So that's what's helped me.
That's wonderful. Accepting your situation and taking it in a positive way and moving on. That's a great way to move.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're on question 2, which says, what did you do to remedy that situation? I think we've spoken at length on this, Toral.
Right. I'm going to go a little bit forward.
Yeah. Okay, as an observer to that situation, if you have to advise yourself, what would you do differently? As in, okay, here I can give you a situation. Suppose, you really lost it this morning because you had a bad mail from the boss, or you had a spat with your partner, or your children were just too disorganized in the morning, they missed their bus. So everything is haphazard. In such a situation, what would you advise? What would you do differently if you want to do everything peacefully? Make a plan earlier, mentally prepare before execute. 100%. That is amazing. Give yourself 5 minutes. Just take charge of whatever just happened. Tell yourself it doesn't matter, and we move on. That's a great way, Shaman. Accept whatever happened. That's great, Namrita. Ask question to others involved and listen. Absolutely. What exactly, how exactly would you deal with it, Michaela, when you say ask questions to others and listen?
Well, when I'm in that situation, I can find that I become self-involved, and I'm not I start to be self-protective or defensive. So, you know, if I were able to slow down and be more curious about what the other's position is in the situation, I often find that's helpful. That if I get more curious about what's going on for the other person and can ask what's happening for them, it becomes often a different, it'll go in a different direction, because when I'm challenged, I know I get very self-absorbed and I forget that the other person has got things going on too.
Okay. So in such a situation, would you think you would just give it some time and maybe discuss it later, or would you just deal with it there and then?
Well, I'd probably ask, for me, it'd be better that I ask a question to get some clarity before I react. So it's really about getting clarity about the situation before I react, because I can go straight into reaction and not see what's really going on. So I think if I could slow down and be a bit more curious about what's going on for the other, it would be helpful for me, because then I could, it would shift me out of my self-absorption.
Great, great. That's right.
Mm.
And okay, Mr. Bhupinder says mentally to be ready to take whatever happens. Absolutely, that's also great. I would take time more to meditate and relax and take better care of myself in order to stay calm. That's wonderful. But now the situation is getting out of your hands. So how are you going to do that?
I think,
And
like Michaela also mentioned, I'd like to point out to at the right time to take a pause. I think that is the most important. So we all realize it that to any situation we can either respond or react. We can only do either of these two things. So if we are not responding, we are reacting. And if we are not reacting, we are responding. So that's a beautiful answer. And that answers the second comment also, that if you want, you can just pause at the right time, maybe just walk out, do some deep breathing at that time, close your eyes, if possible, just stay with yourself, take hold of that situation, take hold of your own self, and you'll find yourself in peace once you have silenced down that mind. Yeah.
Okay, and say sometimes I step away from situation and take deep breath and practice finding reasons to be grateful for it. Sometimes that's a wonderful way of taking charge of the situation and have a sense of retreat instead of thinking I should win all the time. Okay, that's great. Take charge of what is triggering my emotions, build better communication, stop, observe my emotion tones and that of others. That's a great way. Wonderful. We are the cause, not are the effect. Amazing. That's great. We are all so peaceful. Why do we need this then? You guys are giving such great answers. I think me and Toral should leave now then. You guys are amazing.
We have some experts on the meet today, and I think we're going to be so inspired after this first meet that we have decided to follow on every month with different values, Shweta. It's
I know.
really nice. If we have an audience and participants like this, I know you are going to make a difference wherever you are. You're already making a difference, know that, and you're going to make a difference even more. And now we are a community, so we are together in it, and we would like to make a difference together. I think that's got more power.
Indeed, 100%. Mohan says use the power of silence to. That's the best way. Most often we just go quiet because, you can't, one person, even if they keep talking, they're just talking to the walls. So if you just go quiet, even if your mind's just going on with negative emotions and you just stop and you see how immediately, if you can convert a negative thought into a positive thought and just see it diminishing, or take a deep breath. And that's a brilliant way of, just pausing for peace.
I have a question here. Now, what if that power of silence is not a very healthy silence? Okay, for most of us, we would use golden silence, a very positive silence. But sometimes we don't want to talk. Sometimes we don't want to talk for a day, for a few hours, for a few weeks. What about that? How do you deal with that? If that happens, if there's someone who's doing that, or if you yourself feel like, you're just indifferent to the person, you're indifferent to your relationships for a few hours or for a few days, how do you get a control over yourself, over that situation? Be informed later. You mean you want to postpone it? You would like to postpone it, Charmaine?
Yeah, I think it's a way, because sometimes you have an argument and then you can't deal with it. So my way is to pause for a while, even if it takes a few days to reply. Yeah. And then just tell him that what you actually feel about it. And put a full stop. See you later. Bye.
Right. Right. So, very gently, very respectfully, you want to withdraw from that situation at that moment. Maybe tell the person, I'm not ready at the moment to speak about it. I need some more time to think, or some time to, get back to you. I think that's fair enough. That's fine. Just excusing yourself, gathering some more knowledge about that situation, and then getting back to the person. I think that's healthy, right? And that can avoid the argument or the debate or the situation from going, in the other way down. Yeah. Michaela, you're writing, I stay with myself until I feel my intuition guides me to reconnect. Right, staying with the self, that's absolutely fine. That's almost like going within,
Yeah.
and
And
observe.
I find when I do that, I'm not spending energy on the story in my head, or forming any war or againstness. I'm just settling, and I just know my intuition will guide me when it's time to pick up the phone or write an email or make contact.
Yeah, as that's very important. As long as your mind is not going back again into that situation in the negative mode, okay? As long as we're not thinking about that person again in the negative mode, and we choose peace, we choose that power of peace, knowing that we are peace and we are giving peace to that situation, to that person, to ourselves, and we can show up a happy face. I think that's most important.
Yeah.
And Anne says, I would tell my family that I need to calm down and that I will talk later. And this is a very beautiful way, again, taking responsibility. Well, yes, we are humans and we make mistakes, right? So the moment we realize we have gotten aggressive or we have gotten hyper, and that can happen no matter how much peace we are going to practice, there's going to be situations that is going to shake you. And at that time, if you realize and you have the courage to go tell your family or surroundings that, yeah, I need to calm down a little bit, I'm going to get back to you. That is absolutely courageous. Thanks, Anne. Mohan, you've raised your hand. Yes.
I would like to add, when we talk about silence, we have to be careful. The silence is not affecting our ego. Sometimes we don't want to talk to anyone. Maybe that sense of ego that is telling me, okay, avoid this one, not to talk to him. We have to be very careful about that. Then we are genuine to ourselves that we need that calm, that peace of mind. Then we start again. But we have to be very, very careful about ego.
Absolutely. That ego and self-respect always has a very thin line. And I think we're going to explore more about ego in the next value, which is respect, because we have realized it's got a very thin line. It's very easy to, we don't even realize when are we using that ego, when are we in our self-respect. So that's a beautiful point here. You've already gone too deep down, and that's really nice, a beautiful insight. Thanks, Mohan.
And I'll just add that, whatever state of mind you are in, it's always good to communicate, in the sense, even if you're going silent, to just calm down that situation, just excuse yourself and say, I will come back to you on this, but not now. It's very important to communicate, because as you diffuse the situation by saying that, you don't leave the other person wondering that here I'm screaming, or something happened and now this one's gone into the shell. So I think it just becomes more positive when you just communicate your feelings and say, I'm not in a mood, or I'm not in a state to discuss this anymore at the moment.
Absolutely. Open communication. Miss Sanyukta writes, I go into silence and have good wishes for the person while stopping the negative thought patterns. Wow, that is a beautiful state of mind. Again, it's a step higher than what we are already dealing with. And that's a very good state of mind, that you still have good wishes for that person in front of us, right? No matter what that person has done, no matter what the situation has brought out for us, is it possible to have good wishes for that person yet? Wow. And stop the negative patterns. That is because of you value your peace of mind. It's for you and your peace of mind that you will have good wishes. The only way to stop negative patterns is to have good wishes. I agree with you. Yeah, Charmaine replies, yes, absolutely beautiful. Any more answers to this situation? And we all go through this situation in our life sometime or the other. In fact, I would say daily, almost alternate days, something or the other crops up that challenges our peace. How do we, as a values facilitator or a values practitioner, can deal with that situation, right? I value peace, double, diamond price, infinite price. Okay. Right. So we'll just take a minute or two to reflect back into what we have, heard from all of each other. Reflect back on what we have shared, and what do you think about how peace as a value has worked for you? And then we'll open the session to a dialogue or a discussion in your values journey, in your VAFT or VBA course, where you are at. Are you finding anything difficult? Is there anywhere we can help you with? Please do share. I'm going to open the floor now for discussions. Yes, Mohan, I try to understand their situation to make them to react like that. Yes, to understand why that person is doing what he or she is doing, why that person is behaving how he or she is behaving. That's again a higher level, because we are trying to understand why they are doing. Imagine that means we already understand ourselves in that first step, right? Then we have the ability to understand the person. And when you try and understand that person, there is peace in that. That's very beautiful.
I think,
Hi, I have a question.
Right. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to see if there's any way you can support or guide us with regards to the youth facing, like they're going into depression and they're committing suicide, there's bullying. Now, how do you, as a facilitator, like sometimes we're seeing like parents themselves are not able to talk. Like there's certain kids who are like very, very quiet. They go through bullying or they go through different things in school and they don't communicate to their parents. And then suddenly you find out, like just recently, someone in the community, he was a 13-year-old boy who committed suicide. So we see that on the rise, and we see that there's bullying happening. And how do you speak to parents, or what can you do to support either the parents or other kids so that the same thing doesn't happen? Like, just wanted some guidance and advice from you.
Honey, this is such a beautiful question, and it's really saddening to see today how children are not able to take the stress. They are already calling them depressed. They're already calling themselves to be in a depressed state of mind. And that's not how this world was ever meant to be. But now we are already living this. So the best way, I think, to deal is when you notice children at school or even at home, they've gotten quiet. They like their own privacy more than they want to be with you. They like to be around with friends more. They like to be outside the house. And when they're in the house, they want to be in their rooms. It's definitely time to just talk in a way that's not overwhelming for them. Maybe just try and go out for a drive and take, a topic. Talk about yourself if they don't want to talk about themselves, okay? But they definitely need to talk, even if there is somebody who is close to them and can take charge, it's okay, right? Anyone in the family that they are close to, it's fine if you want to. Sometimes there are brothers or cousins that like to take charge. They listen to. Please approach them and get them to have a conversation with them. Send them out at their home or at a cafeteria. I think that those are a few things. And when it comes to schools, you know what, me and Shweta also approach schools, and we've been successful in guiding parents at the school, which is very important because today parents know that the child is going through a problem, but now they don't know how to deal with it. So if you are doing this course, the VAFT, and if you are willing to facilitate sessions, we will definitely guide you as to how you can be a facilitator for parents at school or for teachers if needed, whatever, individuals. We need to address directly. And then we show them the way that first, if you keep peace within yourself, you are compassionate towards your child. Your child should feel belonged. Your child should feel safe at home. The problem today is parents threaten their children. They compare their children. They want their children to compete at I don't know what levels, if you don't get this, this is going to be the consequence. If you don't fetch these many marks, or if your result is, we need to approach the parents. You're right when it comes to these cases. Parents need to be approached in the first place. And a lot of parents are taking therapies, taking coaching themselves, So best is to approach schools or the community that you are aware of, parents in that community. Shweta, would you like to add something?
Yeah, thanks, Toral. So, what I would suggest, like Toral's already explained most of it, but I believe the main cause of a child taking such drastic step is because of loneliness. There is no trust between the parent and child where the child can come and openly speak about what's going on. So it's very important to build an environment at home first, because the thing is, see, living values, when I started, the reason I started was I felt there was a lot of disparity between how teachers are teaching our children and how we are teaching our children. There is a lot of disconnect there. Now the teachers come with their own set of baggages. If a child is lonely, or if a child is sad on a particular day, she wouldn't care about why you're sad. She will just chuck the child out, that why are you being so aloof today? You're not responding. She wouldn't give a thought to the child to just get him in the corner or take the child and comfort the child. But if the same child at home is taken well care of, sadly, parents today don't have time. It is very, very important to give that time to the child. And like just yesterday only, I was going through a documentary where they said every day a parent must ask the child, how was your day? How did you feel? These three questions should be asked your child every day. How was your day? How did you feel? Was there any moment today where you felt insecure. And when you're doing these three questions, when you're talking about it, look the child in his eyes so that he feels safe. Do not be on the phone or watching TV, or this time should be 100% the a bonding time where the child just speaks, oh, I had fun, oh, my teacher scolded, oh, I was just punished for no reason, anything and everything. A child who's being bullied, the person who's bullying is, there's a reason he's bullying. He's not bullying for no reason. He's being bullied because he comes from a troubled household, maybe, or there's somebody who's trying to behave similar way with him, that he's now trying to, he's found somebody, a prey on whom he can, show his power on now. So it's very, very important to watch our children very closely, their actions, reactions, and nobody else can do that better than parents. We know our child inside out. A child who's a happy child suddenly goes into a shell. Please don't say that he had a bad day, let him be. Yes, for a couple of moments, let him be, but at a good time, make sure you get it out of his system, because there is unfortunately a lot of noise around us where children get influenced, and they just find the easiest possible route of committing suicide or going in depression, or taking a bold step which is later regretted.
No,
So
I absolutely agree with what both of you are saying. Parents play a huge role, a responsibility. The thing in Hong Kong is, as same in other countries as well, is parents are too busy. Both parents are working. Teachers, when they see kids like stressed out or not responding, they absolutely don't know how to handle. They themselves are overworked. They don't know how to handle. If the kid is showing signs of something, they'll pass on the case to the social worker. And it's also a taboo. Like, okay, if I'm going to the social worker from the child's perspective, there's something wrong with me. So there are these kind of labels there. And recently, we were conducting a workshop in a school. We were conducting a debate workshop, and the kids were 13, 14 years old. And these are very smart kids. But currently, it's exam time, so just 2 or 3 weeks before the exams. When I was asking them very basic questions, they were giving me very, very silly answers. And then I asked the class teacher, I said, what's wrong with them? And they said, this is what happens every year. 3 weeks before exam, they start behaving very, very different. Like some of them will put their hands under the table, start scratching themselves. And they're not even aware that, hey, I'm stressed, number one. So only when they realize that I'm stressed can they do something about it, like take a breathing break, do something. But the fact is, they're not aware I'm stressed. The second is they don't want to admit that I'm stressed, because being stressed is a bad thing. That means I can't cope. So there are a lot of these kind of labels or perceptions in the student community, which like sometimes you think, okay, how can you support them? So I'm just sharing. But yes, and
right.
I'd definitely like to know more about the VBL course that you mentioned. I'd like to maybe take it aside and we can speak more about it so I can, learn more.
And we'll have to be a little more aware of not using words like stress in the school, because children getting stressed is not. Why are we making exams such a big deal? Why can't we have a system where it's planned in a way that everything is smooth? The child does not have to suffer, or it's because we keep feeding it, oh, your exams are coming, study. When the child goes home, we telling, oh, exams are coming, study. A first grade child is saying, I'm stressed because I have exams. Are you serious? So we need to get rid of all the negative words around the children and just keep reassuring them. Wow. Because at the end of it, it's the values, it's the, these marks are not going to matter. It's
Exactly.
what the child comes out to be, a loving, respectful, peaceful, and confident child. So the more confident we become the child, make the child, rather than saying you're stressed or something, just completely change the whole dialogue and say, I'm very confident. And the similar language should be used at home. Fine, the child has failed his maths, English, whatever, but make the child believe in himself rather than reminding him that you flunked.
Absolutely.
Right? So we need to change certain ways of how we should deal with the children. Even at school, like me and Toral generally, we deal with the parents.
Ci ou cela. Et il doit faire ça le plus rapidement possible.
Sorry. Okay, so we basically have to be very aware of the language because the same language gets picked up by the children, and the same language is then, it's with them 24/7, stress, stress, stress. That a good child who's good in studies is also like, oh, I'm stressed because why? Because everybody around me is stressed. But you're a capable child. They also start losing confidence.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
No problems. Anybody else?
Yes, I have one question. I wonder why the value gratitude is not included in the list of core value in the Living Value program.
Yeah, so and I've just read your question, and it comes under happiness. Gratitude comes under happiness. In fact, I would also humility has also got a speck of gratitude. As such, we have 40 very basic values universally, if you go to see, but we came down to these 12 core values, and we always team gratitude when we do happiness. So some of the other values are all directly or indirectly connected. So we team up values when we are doing presentations. Yeah. But thank
And
you.
I think
Your question is
gratitude
beautiful.
goes with everything.
Yeah.
It is a great question, but I think you are grateful for everything, right? You're grateful that you're being able to control and be peaceful. You're grateful because so gratitude can be linked with anything and everything. You're grateful for this beautiful life, which is peaceful, respectful, loving, caring. So I think that's the outer circle, which has all the subsets of all the other values.
I have a question. Like how to it's quite overwhelming when we hear all of the sad things that are happening, like with the children and a child suiciding, and in systems that are so structured and are set in their ways. I just wonder how we can find peace in that, but also be active. Like it's uncomfortable just knowing that there are so many children in this situation.
I think the more value-based schools we have, the better it would be because everybody's at the same platform then. We have a value-based environment at school. We have a value-based environment at home. Unfortunately, it's the child who gets sandwiched between the school and the parents' expectations. And that's what pushes them to take these drastic steps. But the more we push values in both the systems, the more we will start seeing the shifts.
I think my curiosity is more about how do you as individuals like be with the bigness of this situation. Like I feel like I I sometimes shut all the information out because it's too painful to hear it. And yet I don't want to keep doing that. So I don't think I can really be effective if I'm not informed. So there's that sense of that overwhelm with the information and the suffering, and yet there's something that wants to contribute. So it's complex.
I hear you completely. We've all been there. And, to come out strong out of a situation like this requires a lot of courage. I think courage is the key. And keep saying to yourself, I can do it. I am powerful and I can do it. Because you have a good heart and a pure intention to help, to contribute, you will overcome all those aches and pains the moment you start. Someone mentioned earlier self-talking. Yes, self-talk is healthy. Look at yourself in the mirror. At that time, tell yourself, I am enough and I'm going to do something about this situation. I'm not going to let that situation take hold over me. Because then what is happening if you let those things, those whatever the person is going through, their emotions reign over you, you're going to lose yourself. And that's exactly what we don't want. We want to win over the situation at any cost because they are already weak. They already are in pain. If we also drag ourselves to their level, who is going to take them out? And that is where values come in. That is where these values come in. That reminder that I am peace. I won't even say I have peace in me. I will say I am
peace.
I am courage. I am respect. I am love. I'm not full of love. I am love in the wholeness, in the fullness. And you see how your cup will pour out on that.
Yeah, everything you're saying is touching my heart and resonating. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else with any questions that may not be a part of the course, maybe something that you're struggling internally, that's a success story that you've just overcome, we'd love to hear.
Yeah, the big challenge what I'm facing in running my school is the parents, not like the older parents of my parents, they have used to guide us and they used to all talk about the honesty, values, and other things. Now the next generation of me, I'm 50 plus, okay, the values what inculcated my parents and my family still lives in. Then comes to me and my children. Because of my busy schedule, I didn't get time, or because of the same situation. The next generation, everybody, they're running behind the marks. Now, when I started a school, I started thinking about a moral classes and some other value system we try to build in. But the parents are not recognizing it. The parents, they doesn't know how it impacts the children's future. Now the children, since last 1 hour we're talking about peace and why the children are making suicide. Okay, I don't know the elder people, adults, why they suicide. That is a different issue. But 70 to 80% of the children, they're doing suicide because they're not doing good in academics. A lot of peer pressure will be there. A lot of educational institutions are also doing a lot of pressures. Coaching institutes are doing a lot of pressure. And even the parents are also having expectation, comparison between their children with other children. See, 90% of the suicides are because of they're not performing well in the academics. But there are so many children. Last year, we had a student named called Nirjal. He just passed 10th grade with a 45% of marks, but he is very, 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 very good at music. Okay. What happened if he is not doing good in academics, English, maths, and physics? If he is good in music, the parents and the society need to encourage him in music. He can become a very good world-renowned musician also he can become. Whatever instrument you will give him, within 2 to 3 days, he used to become perfect in that instrument actually. So that is such a good, nice talent is there. But now the society is recognizing by the percentage of marks what these boards are giving. Boards are not recognizing the other talent, other creativity in the children. As a society, we need to encourage that, and we need to come out of that perception that if my children is not doing academics, is useless fellow. Okay, we have a lot of talents. For that, actually, we want to introduce a 3-batch system in my school. The batch system says we have around 30 to 40 activities apart from the studies. Study is also one activity in my mind. The other activities also, first level, every child has to get some badge on his pocket. And if it is the initial 40 activities when we're introducing, all the 40 activities are equal in my view. Every child, whatever is having interest. Okay, academics is the core. Everybody has to do some percentage. What we divided is into 100 hours of a child spending time in the school. 60% of the time we will give it to the academics, less 40% we're having some activities where we're having 30 to 40 activities. There, every child has to have the badge. First is red, then blue, then green. Green is the perfect in that activity. So when a child, generally class monitor, what we used to call, he used to get all the academics only, they used to do the badge. Okay, now 40 children, 40 badges will be there. Okay, he will get some morally, he will feel happy that, okay, if you are good at study, I am good at yoga. If you are good at yoga, I am good at something else. So that system, I introduced it in our school, that at least to boost moral, it is working very well. So first of all, we need to now, what I feel after starting a school, now the education is required for the parents, not for the children. Most of the school, like private school like us, as per the aspirations of the parents, we have to teach the children. Because parents do not want to know about their child's other interests. They want only how much my child has scored in maths, physics, chemistry, or English. So we need to overcome this. So for that, this living value system and all other things system, they need to go take it to the parents first. How does it impact to the children?
Yes, Mr.
Now,
Reddy.
yeah.
We actually already have living values workshops for parents running, but we need people like you. Okay, we need people like you who will actually do it in you start from your educational institute and you see how that is noticed by 5 other schools and see what impact it makes. You are the one that can start and make that impact in your city, your country, whatever you call it. But yes, we need more people like you who understand this and who will also bring it into action. So you are right, taking charge and giving this knowledge to parents. Living values for parents is the key, because once we do parents, once we do teachers, children are automatically going to benefit. We don't need to go to the children and do anything. So we believe educating that parent, educating that teacher, and that's it. Children will watch both of them. They're only either at school or at home. They already, now that's a great adult modeling, of communication or how they work or how they are in action. So that's where living values comes in. We are open to even doing this at communities, at corporate level, at, wherever possible. So parents, I feel, are the heart.
Exactly.
So we can definitely help you with guiding once you are available to do the course yourself and you have completed. Please do write to us and we can definitely guide you as to how parents can be then guided. So currently I'm working with an international school in Mumbai. I did about 7 sessions in the last 7 months. Now the secondary principal of that school has approached us and has said, please, can I make this compulsory for all parents to attend?
Correct.
That is what the reason was. The parents went to that principal. They said, ma'am, we have seen a world of a difference in our children. We have seen our relationships getting positive. Can we have this? But we can't have just one parent attending it. So the parents said, we want both the parents attending this. Because if one parent is working hard, yes, there are sometimes single parents, but that's fine. But for others who are attending as a couple, even making it compulsory for parents sometimes if possible.
Now,
Yeah.
because the even parent, they doesn't know what has to be given to the children. Okay. Now knowledge pumping is everywhere available with a single button. Okay. Now that is not required to pump into so much to their heart. So we need to have a lot of other things where actually the heart of the children should be educated properly, not the mind. Where pumping to the minds actually. Where I am facing a lot of challenge. Because children are superb, I'm telling you. They believe us, they believe the teachers, they believe the education, they believe the parent. The parent doesn't know. We have a lot of responsibility as a society, as a school owner. Actually, I'm feeling a lot of responsibility. See, a small example, what I'll say, out of context, actually now whatever the terrorists and other things, they train unemployed youth and they make the person to have a suicide bomber for himself. But as an education owner, 12 years the child is with us. And we are not able to teach him, be happy and live for yourself. We're not able to convey this message to the children. Okay. So completely, that instinct is not there. The other negative people, the instinct what they have, as an owner, as education institution become a business. The parents are paying the fee. What the parents want, I will give the delivery and I will shut down. I have to take a lot of pains. First, I have to convince the parent, this is not suitable for your child. This is suitable for your child. But finding it very difficult, but ultimately, now during these 6 years of my journey as an educationist, I try to at least 30-40% of parents have realized what I want to teach the children. But I want to help people like you who can collaborate with us and we can make a lot of impact.
Yeah, it's very important to change the mindset of the parents because parents are the, if I may say, the toughest nut to crack because they have been brought up in a certain way and they want to make their child what they dream of or what they dreamt of or what they couldn't do, which is a very false expectation to have because they need to realize that the child is an individual who has his own capabilities, characters, strengths and weaknesses. So it's important to accept that and let the child flourish in what he or she is good at. So, yes, me and Toral, we do conduct a lot of parental workshops on the same where we uh, help the parents work on themselves. Because, see, the moment they start working on their mindset, everything else changes. The moment we shift their mindset, things start to change.
And Charmaine also suggests we can start small first. Yes, absolutely. Even at home, when we are behaving and responding to our children, be careful they're watching us, right? And then even at your workplace, at the institution, how we talk to the people in there, they are all watching, children are all watching, and they love to imitate us. So I think they are a reflection of who we are and who. So definitely, if you all are taking up the course, once you have finished the course, we can definitely guide you towards targeting, where you are comfortable, what is your forte. You are into an educational institutions, you are into schools, we'll guide you as to how you can go about starting workshops there. It doesn't have to be a big bang thing. It just starts with 1 or 2 small workshops. See how your response is, and believe me, if you believe in values, they will believe in you.
Correct. Super.
Right. And then, yeah, and Charmaine also writes, we live in a world where parents don't want to be responsible for the child and the family. We are the first batch foundation of the change. Very true, Charmaine. I think before the teacher at the school, a parent, is, like Shweta mentioned, parent is the first teacher. And parents are the ones who don't want to take the responsibility many a times. And that is why we see these suicide cases and depression cases. That doesn't, because they don't have the time. They just keep saying they don't have the time. And when you do the course, you will, if you explore a little bit more in peace, the value of peace, in our activities section, we have the main parent concern is we don't have time and how you can overcome that. Okay. So once you start your workshop, so you want to facilitate a group, we will guide you as to how you can positively do that, right? Gayatri writes, we need to educate the benefits of peace, inner peace, to everyone for their lives and works. Absolutely. I think that's the essence of living values. Peace. We start with peace and we need to end with peace. You know, everything in between will take care of itself. Yeah. G has a question, and I'm not sure if it aligns with today's topic. If we want to implement the LV approach in schools, what would be the recommended steps? How can the LV approach be integrated into the school curriculum? It's a very valid question. You know, the one thing you need to do is complete your VBA course, the VAFT course, if I don't know where you are at currently. And then you can approach us once you have completed your 12 values with the activities, self-reflection in that course that is given as is. You can get back to us and we'll guide you. Definitely, it's a much needed thing to approach in schools. Approaching schools means we are approaching 3 levels. We are approaching teachers, parents, and students all at one time. It's an excellent idea. And kudos to your encouragement to, do this, your excitedness as well. Anyone else with any other questions related to the course, related to living values? Yeah, all set until we meet next time. So the next value we will be exploring is respect. But till we come to respect, we usually recommend that you practice peace for the next 21 days. Yeah, where you have reflected how being peaceful has helped you, how being challenged in your peace, you have overcome it. Write down those situations, perhaps even share with us, okay? That yes, I felt that anger, I felt irritated, I wanted to, just go and blah, blah, blah to that person, but I contained it. I kept a hold on myself. I paused, I postponed it, I won over that situation. I think you'll emerge a winner if we keep that silence, if we keep that peace within us. We are always, I feel, the winners, though the other person may seem loud, may seem completely haywired, but we are quietly protecting our peace. So definitely till we meet again in the next month with a new value, do practice peace and do let us know how you feel about and how maybe an example of situations, right? Otherwise, please feel free to write to us with any more concerns or anything that you have I've shared my email addresses and Shweta's email address previously in the chat. Yeah. Shweta, would you like to end the session?
Thank you. I'm sending you all the angel of peace.
Awesome.
So a blessing card, it is written, you know your own worth. You are special and unique. No one can play your part better than you. Peaceful angel. Thank you, Toral. Thank you, Shweta. Thank you, Roger. Thank you, every
much.
peaceful soul out there. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And it was great that you all spent time And I hope we were able to make you more peaceful, and we look forward to hearing your stories next time. Till then, take care and all the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Take
Bye.
care.
Thank you. Thank you very much.